Are we taking?
Can you guys hear me?
Take it off.
I thought you'd want me to wear this one.
You should. That's how you should end.
Hey,
That's how you
guys.
should start.
Hey guys.
Eric, I was gonna. Yeah.
Be quiet for about 90 seconds or less. I'm gonna do a quick intro and then bring you guys in. Okay.
Got it. We're gonna meet this.
Perfect.
You guys hear me?
All right. Well, hello and welcome to the Ask Aviator episode number 43. This is a new style episode, something we're trying just to keep things new and fresh. We wanted to basically get you guys involved and bring more people into the show from home as we are still in quarantine. Episode number 3 of the Quarantine Cast. This is not exactly our favorite thing in the world. We're not exactly excited about it, but here we are. And we are live with the main gang. Super excited. We did our pre-show with Catherine. We are doing our first time ever bringing Zoom callers in, which is something we didn't want to do. We wanted to keep this kind of a high production value, high consistency with audio, high consistency with location, etc. But quite frankly, I felt like you guys might be getting bored and tired of our husband and wife show. So we thought we might change things up a little bit. I'm going to bring my wife into the show in a little while. But first, I wanted to spend 20, 30 minutes with my buddy Dave, and of course we're going to have Catherine here as well because she can't leave. We know that about her. So without further ado, welcome everyone to episode number 43. Super excited to have you. And Dave, I think we should be able to hear and see you now. I'm pressing all the buttons thingies on my button thingies.
I'm here. I'm here.
Awesome,
I'm here.
man.
I don't know if we can. I don't know if you can see us though.
Well, there's a bit of a delay, a little bit of a lag because I shifted some of the ways that we record this to have better quality recording. So hopefully it will be showing up on screen soon. Dave is from Paramotor Crazy and Our Paramotor Nation, a podcast that Kate also helps host, and I do my best to join in every week or so. Incredible people. I greatly enjoy them, and it looks like I don't have Dave's video. I only have Kate's. Oh, no. There it is. I can see Dave. Yes. Awesome.
Is it this microphone I'm supposed to be talking into right here? Let me just tap on it and make sure it works.
Welcome, my friend.
I do like the table here, though. I just make myself comfortable on the table. Is that okay? I put my feet up on the table.
The bad thing is I can't see because I don't have that Zoom open, so it's on the other computer, which is really.
You're missing out, Eric.
I can see that. That I can see. Yeah.
All right.
I can see. Oh man.
So someone left me a cup here on the table too. Never mind.
Yeah, chances are that whatever's in that cup you don't want to get into there. I'm just warning you. Oh man.
In there for a couple.
All right.
So now that we know that this works, I'm wondering if I should back out now.
I just killed
So
it.
what it's doing? No, what it's doing, it's keeping Eric up, and then whoever's the active speaker between Kate and I, it's popping in. So it's just showing the Eric plus one.
Okay,
So we just have to keep spitting back and forth then. Got to actively keep Eric off the screen.
I can leave the screen. Watch this. Let's see.
Oh no.
I'm not sure if I can.
Because then I'd be so confused that this is a different show on a different night, and everybody's going to be messed up. We need you here, Eric.
Well, I'm trying to figure this out, guys. They say that your audio is really bad. Interesting. I wonder why.
Mine is?
Yeah, yours sounds great to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Trevi says it's working, so I'm glad to hear it's working. If there's any issues, guys, just let us know, and we'll try to correct them. I don't know why it's showing up. No, would you hit the button to get rid of the attendees list on Zoom? We're working it out,
PPG
guys.
Gorilla. I'm so excited I've made it onto the show before PPG Gorilla. That's like a huge honor to me. Like,
I'm
why
surprised
would you
that we
want
haven't had Rick on here yet. Honestly, kind of surprised.
Yeah, he's
But
awesome. He's awesome. He did the poker run. You were there for that.
I was there for that. I think I made the poker run in the fastest possible way. I took the RV6 and was doing 180 miles an hour flying past all the paramotors. I won't know for another minute or so. Would you hit over to grid view, babe, on the on Zoom so we can see Kate also?
He's talking to you, David.
Yeah, me, babe, or her, babe?
Definitely talking to you.
All right, so we've got Dave here to try to carry on some conversation. Our goal was, how do we kind of carry things on? This is actually an idea my dad had. So fair warning, he's in the chat. Hopefully this is a great idea. I feel like it might be. We had this concept of how could we create a segment of something called like nothing ventured, nothing gained, no pain, no gain. What's your most humiliating moment in paramotoring? And why are you so passionate about the sport? And we can kind of dive into some of that information and share what's important to you guys. So like, what is it that you have been doing that what got you in the sport? What's your most humiliating? I don't know. We'll start from the top. Who are you? Where are you from? And what got you into the sport of paramotoring?
Prepare me for these questions. All right. So just like many, Tucker's video got me into the sport. Flying at McDonald's, my son ran up to me with his cell phone and said, "Dude, you got to see this." My son calls me dude. And he showed me Tucker's video, and I just said, I have one. And so that's right there. And then because inside of this incredible physique of a body that you see before you is an 8-year-old little boy that still wants to be Superman. And I had to fly as a child and never had the means to do it. Never had someone motivating me to do it. And then I saw this and I said, I have to do it. So I started doing my research, looking for a place to train. I made a mistake and went somewhere else. But I did learn how to fly somehow. And I think what's interesting is that pretty much I documented many of my mistakes and mishaps on video on my YouTube channel, and they can all be seen on Paramotor Crazy. Plug, subscribe, and like.
It's just youtube.com/Paramotor Crazy, right?
No, whatever it is, just Paramotor Crazy, you know. All right. And probably right now Rick Davies is in the chat saying unsubscribe. I was out at the field that we fly at. I got there a little late, about 9:30, 10 o'clock one day. And a guy named Mike Cotter was in town and hanging out with my buddy Brandon McLeod. And so I started pulling out my trike, and Mike started talking to me and saying, "Hey, is this really a good idea that you should go fly in this?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" He goes, "Oh, you're not worried about anything?" I said, "No, everything seems to be fine." I said, "Then let's, you know something I don't know." And then he taught me what a thermal was, because I never was taught what a thermal was in my so-called training. So Mike and I developed an amazing relationship for that moment. He became a mentor and a friend. And later on, this past August, I went up to fly my PPG, Aviator Alliance, and I was trained to foot launch.
Nice. Very nice indeed. I accidentally switched you off the camera. I just fixed it. I'm trying to figure this out. It's so hard because I'm using a control box that controls all the cameras and everything, but it controls them on the PC or the Mac that's behind the camera, so I can't actually see the screen.
You know what? There's a show on Sunday nights that often has issues with their technology too. So you're forgiven. As far as I'm concerned, you're forgiven.
You need to get set up OBS. So OBS is the streaming software we use, and it gives you so much more control. I really, really like it, but it certainly is it's a heavily involved thing. So yeah.
We'll check it out. We're always looking to get better and grow and make our show better, just like yours. So
someday we'll be as good as you. That's the goal.
Oh gosh, no. I just love that I had you on our show and I said, "Yeah, you've got 40 some shows. That's pretty good. It's not 49 or whatever the numbers were."
We're only at 43 right now, so I don't think we're going to catch up to you as much as we wanted.
No, we're always a couple ahead. I think we just had number 51.
Nice.
51 was the episode. So. Yeah.
So you ended up hooking up with Mike Cotter. Mike Cotter is one of the owners of Fly My PPG, and they're an Aviator Alliance school. Awesome people. That entire group of people, Bob and Justin, they love to share flight, and that's one of the reasons why we've stayed such good friends with them. They're just good humans.
Great guys, absolutely great guys, and always there if I have a question. So they're fantastic school as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and please, this, I mean, I've talked to a lot of trainers out there, a lot of schools, and these guys, we want to keep all these guys around. Please make sure you're supporting them. Try to talk to people in your community that are even considering getting into flying paramotors, and start sharing with them your success stories at your schools. We got to keep these guys around. And these are great people, and we don't want to lose any of these instructors.
That is actually one of the things I wanted to talk to you about tonight, and we'll jump back into Dad's segment in a short bit here. But there's a lot of things to keep in mind, a lot of things to consider as we are moving into this kind of period of uncertainty. You know, we just a couple nights ago were informed that there's another 30 days of social distancing being required by the president, and that's means 30 more days. And we are actually considered a essential business, as we're a flight school, and flight schools are essential businesses. You know, it's really up to our instructors as to whether or not they want to open up their businesses for those, or not their businesses, but their bodies to additional antibodies. You know what I mean? And so that's something that we're definitely considering, and I'm sure that other schools around the country are trying to consider as well. Like, do they want to be teaching in this environment, especially because if you guys haven't seen it yet, the video that we just released a few days ago of the Denellian's last class, you know, it's a 26-minute video. It's long, but it has a lot. Whoa, there's audio. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, it was like I was getting an echo. You know, it has a pretty good representation of exactly what happens in these classes. There's a lot of hugging. There's a lot of high-fiving. It's very difficult to socially distance yourself when you're hugging on each other, etc.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of celebration. It's emotional. I'm sure it's emotional from not only the students' standpoint, but just almost as equally emotional from the trainers to get to see their success.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know, except being able to see my own son go fly for the first time. But yeah, I mean, just to be able to share that, and you know, if I was ever an instructor, it would be for that reason and that reason alone. It was to be able to share that joy, that absolute joy of seeing a person make their flight for the very first time. Amazing.
It's what keeps us going, honestly. That's the biggest thing that keeps us pushing forward and staying in a business that's, you know, clearly it's a high level of stress. It's a large amount of work. It's a large amount of effort. And yet we continue to stay in that because the payoff is watching the students succeed. It's a huge emotional win. It really is. So,
you know, I would imagine all trainers, there's a quote I'm going to read to you of a book I just read at 4:30 this morning. And because this quote, you know, for me and for my colleagues on our Paramotor Nation, I feel like this is, and I would say for Ask Aviator, and I would say for Paragliding Talk, this probably encompasses why we do these shows. And as a trainer, I would say the same thing. It probably holds true. And this is the quote. It says, "We are changing more lives, saving them from having negative experiences associated with their dream of flight. We are doing what we are meant to do."
Yeah.
And I thought that was a beautiful quote from a new book that's coming out in the next, day or so?
It comes out tomorrow morning.
It's called Farewell to Normal.
That's correct. And I got to find a copy of it. I have a copy here. Nell's going to grab it for me, I think. So you guys can see it. It is ready to release. We are actually going to make a huge push to get it on the bestseller list. It will be the first time, as far as I know, it'll be the first time the book with a paramotor on the front cover it makes the bestsellers list of Amazon. That is the goal. That is the mission. So I'm going to give one of these away tonight as well. But this is the new book, which is kind of crazy. It's available right now. If people wanted to buy it, they can. I'll put a link in the description. But I'd rather you guys wait till tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And help with the push to get this released. And sadly, I messed up, and David bought the old version of it. He's like, "Wait, you have 2 chapter 7s," and I was like, "Oh no!" Yeah. Oops.
So confused.
Oops. I feel pretty stupid about that. I'm not gonna lie, because I had been trying to get the new version updated, and this has been a 14-month long journey of attempting to get this all built and done, and so many edits, so many things that that I can't even express how much work has gone into this project. But yeah, so thank you, my wife.
But I will say this: I read about half the book. I wasn't able to get through all of it today. I just was busy. But then again, I read chapter 7 twice, so maybe I'm more than halfway through the book. But it was all new information. But it's a type of book that you don't have to be a paramotor pilot or a paramotor enthusiast for either. My wife doesn't really care about flying, but I told her, I said, you'd really enjoy this book because it's a very motivational book, and one that just kind of, I don't know. For me, it's like, I haven't read anything really motivational in a while, and it just kind of jump started me again to think about my relationships. One of the relationships, in the version I read, chapter 6, I believe it was, talk about keeping the positive people in your life and maybe going a different distance from the people that try to bring you down. And so I kind of think about those relationships in my life too. So again, it's not just about paramotoring, although it's really a great background of Eric Farewell and his life and
some of the crazy stuff I've done.
Yeah.
It's
motorcycling to Alaska.
That
wow.
Was fun. I was 19. You do stupid things when you're 19, right?
Sometimes 19-year-olds can do stupid things. This is true.
No, so I wrote the book with the whole purpose being kind of creating this idea, because I believe that no matter what you're doing in your life, if you can live beyond your fears, if you can look toward things and live in faith and this hope and joy, this knowledge that things will turn out well, no matter how bad things are, it allows you to become the person you're meant to be. And for me, flight has been the primary focus, the primary thing that has always made me feel completely alive. And so I was able to kind of use some of my experiences with flight and with other adventures and things like that to be able to share some of the key elements of what make me me, and what has developed my life and what's brought the people into my life that I love so much. So I'm grateful that you dove in. I texted Dave at 12:04 a.m. last night, and I was like, hey, I have a crazy idea. I think I'm going to do a Zoom, and I want you to be my first Zoom guest. And by the way, I wrote a book, and here it is. It comes out on Wednesday. Will you read it before the show? And he did.
Yeah. Having to wake up at 4:30. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, what is this? And then I couldn't sleep because then I was looking at apps to see what the weather was for the morning to go fly. I'm like, well, I'm up. Might as well read this book now. Just cracked it right open.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it. I'm grateful that you've enjoyed it, even though you read the pre-edited version. The new version is up on Amazon now. And like I say, if you want to buy it today, totally fine. If you can set yourself a reminder for tomorrow, between 9 and 11 a.m. to buy it then instead, it would bless me a lot. It's 99 cents on Kindle. So it's 99 cents on Kindle for now. It'll be going up to $10 eventually, probably in about a week or so. We're going to be making a big push to get this going via... Sorry, my son just walked up. You got to see this. Come here, Augie. Oh, my goodness. What are you wearing, buddy?
A jumpsuit, of course.
A jumpsuit, of course. Yeah.
It's designed for a 3-year-old.
It was designed for someone about 5 years younger than you. Yeah, that used to fit him, and now it's.
No, it's not tight at all.
It's not tight at all.
All right, hey guys, I keep getting these notifications that my Wi-Fi connection is not the best. So I got some serious lagging going on.
Are you going to leave us? Is that how it is?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, I want to stick around in the chats, but it keeps lagging, and I keep having this big thing pop up on my screen telling me that I don't have a stable connection. So I guess I'm a little unstable tonight.
Do you have anything you want to leave the crowd with? Although, actually, I should ask you this, because you read the early version of the book as well, and I think that the exact quote I got back from you was, "That's the first time I've read a whole book in years."
It's the first time I've read a whole entire book in one setting, but also I'm not a book reader, and I got completely sucked into it. I think I have a little bit more of a different perspective because I grew up with Eric, and so it's like I could kind of place my own opinion and my own memory upon the stories that he was telling within the book. So it was kind of cool to compare a little bit. But I think it's just because it was a little bit more relatable to me because of my current situation as well. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I can't wait to read the the edited version.
Well, one of our students, Jane Ellen, who's now working with us, she helped do the final edit. My parents helped edit. The editor from the publisher helped edit. I've edited. I can't even express to you how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's 188 pages if you count the pictures. And
I pointed out a few typos myself.
yes, you did. You did. So
totally say that I helped with the editing.
it's coming together. I mean, it's finished, which is just trippy. There's an ISBN number on the back and everything, and it's a real book now. And this has been one of those things that I tell the story in the book, but I literally failed at writing a book about failure when I was 18, 19. And I never thought I'd ever finish a book. So when I've now finished this book 4 times because I finish it and then someone else reads it and they tell me all the things I need to change. And then I finish it and someone else reads it. And now I'm just like, no, mas, it's done. It's done. So, like I say, guys, it is available now. If you guys could buy it tomorrow morning, if you can't afford the $1 to buy the Kindle version, and you don't have to read it on a Kindle, you can read it on your iPhone. I find this especially fantastic if you're in the bathroom and you have some time to kill. I will personally PayPal you $1.
All right, so I can expect to see that like later tonight or tomorrow morning.
You got it. You got it. I'll add it to your paycheck.
Thanks.
And take notes. I mean, I'm looking at my iPad right now, which is what I did, and I circled a lot of things. There's a lot of good nuggets in there to take and write down and reflect upon later. I'm not going to read all the ones I'm looking at right now, but how to look at the upside, right?
Yeah, even when you're in a position where it's really difficult to find one. That's one of the conversations that our team's having right now is, we're in a position where we can no longer serve our students, with the forced separation that we're going through, where we can't have students in house. So how can we serve them differently? Trying to constantly find a way to look for that silver lining and say, hey, there's always opportunity to be found anytime that we feel as if that we're completely shut down.
Can I interrupt you really quickly to give a huge shout out to Vertical Lines, who just did $100 to our all girls class in October?
That's awesome!
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Rock on,
also,
man.
I'm trying to get your equipment to you. I'm sorry.
That's so nice.
That's awesome.
Very.
I just felt like that deserved a decent interruption.
I love it. No, Mark's the man. That's fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it, my friend. We will.
I feel like that pays back for the glitter bomb you sent us.
Almost. If it had actually been just straight glitter, I would have actually probably murdered someone.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was confetti. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It was just confetti. And it was convenient timing because I was literally planning to thoroughly clean the entire war room the day after that. So if that had been like any other time, that would have been awful. But it worked out nicely.
I don't know, man. I despise glitter. If that had been glitter bomb, I would have not been okay with it. But confetti's okay. You can always confetti bomb us. That's totally fine.
It was fun. I feel bad. Slightly, I kind of anticipated what was going to happen. I accidentally kept it all contained, and I should have aimed it at you.
Yeah, you should definitely have just scattered me with hearts.
I'll do better next time.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right, let's jump back into our questions. I know we have some questions in the chat, and we will get back to that shortly, but I want to ask some good questions of you guys about, I guess, of Dave, because Kate, we've already talked about you. So nothing ventured, nothing gained, no pain, no gain. What is your most humiliating moment in the sport to date?
Ooh, can I tell the story?
Have at it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll let you. It's a humbling story, I think.
We've talked about it plenty recently. Even Eric talked about it on the show at the fly-in too. I don't know. I mean, there's so many. I mean, where do you start? And like I said earlier, I've documented most of them on YouTube. I think the one, well, gosh, no. I mean, Rick Davies is in here just saying, I'm going to sell coconut bra pictures of you. That's probably the most humiliating thing I've ever done and the stupidest thing I've ever done. And I wish everybody would forget about it, but it is what it
is.
Oh, that was so dumb of me. I don't know what he put in my drink, but that's how that happened. Other than that, I would say this happened right after training, or lack thereof, where I thought I knew what I was doing, and I flew into a tree.
Oh no!
And I still have an injury on my shoulder from that, and that was you didn't know that 18 months ago. Yeah.
We advise to dodge those.
Okay, so I took off. I think it could have been, looking back now and learning more than I knew then, I thought it was because I didn't properly warm up my motor. I also had some people watching me, and I
Yes,
was
not warming
rushing.
up your
and
motor makes you fly into trees 100% of the time.
What's that?
Not warming up your motor makes you run into trees 100% of the time.
Yeah, I didn't warm it up properly. I was actually rushing because I was trying to impress my son who was at the high school football game and wanted me to fly, near the game so everybody could see it and he'd be the stud, which he already is the stud. He doesn't need me to do that. And so I was rushing, and I could have been getting rotor off the tree and whatever, and I didn't have enough lift, and I went right into a tree.
Oh my goodness!
My son left the football game with a bunch of other guys and helped get me down.
Did you end the game?
What's that?
Did you end the game?
No. I was about a mile and a half away.
Oh my goodness!
So that was humiliating, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat that could list a ton of other reasons why I should be humiliated.
Oh my goodness. I think that, I'll answer it too. My biggest humiliation probably comes from, students show up to Aviator and they kind of have this expectation that I'm a pretty good pilot, that I know what I'm doing. And invariably something will happen. It's not very often. It's about twice a year. I will fail, not one, not two, not three, but like 5 or 6 launches back to back. And it happened to me, paradigm practice a year ago. We were getting ready for Sun and Fun, and somehow I ended up failing 2 launches back to back. I got waked by Doran, I think it was. He kind of flew over me, waked my wing. It's very low wind, so inflate, the wing just folds up. And then the third launch, I got off the ground only to find that I have a tension knot in my outer line that's so tight that I almost stalled and spun the wing. And then I come back around and land, and I had to use my teeth to get it out. So it was like, I'm around some of the best pilots in the world, and I look like an idiot.
You're chewing on your wing.
I'm chewing on my wing. So yeah,
that wasn't last year, was it?
Yeah, it was last year, just before Sun and Fun, and it was our first morning of training, and I totally biffed 2 launches back to back. I felt better because Adriel did too. We both biffed, but then in the third one, we take off and we start going through the pylons, and my wing just dives into the left and starts dragging. And it's a free ride 16, so it's a pretty dynamic wing, and it's like kind of making a terrible, terrible feeling as I went to the turns. I started my climb out. I look up. I'm like, oh, there's something wrong. So, what's yours, Kate? What was your most humbling moment?
Well, I'm practically perfect in every way, so it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, and there's that.
No, I've been thinking about it this whole time. The only thing that's coming to mind is we took, I don't know if this is even really actually, we took a trip, Aviator took a trip to a family friend's place up in Georgia, and it was kind of an odd LZ, and so there was some weird wind direction challenges and rotor and tree lines and power lines and
ponds and trees
and I failed 7 launches in a row, and I got to the point where I accepted the fact that I was too mentally flustered to fly, but I wanted so badly just to kite the freaking wing up, and that was probably the most, because there wasn't a ton of people there, and so it wasn't more of just like a humiliation kind of thing. It was definitely more of a probably my most frustrating and embarrassing, because at that point I'd been flying for a few months. It's like there was no reason why I shouldn't have been able to
and
properly
you had people
get my wing and pilot it. And
you got people launching beside you that had less experience, and they were crushing it. And it's like
they were just, I'm sitting there like, what is happening? Like it was, so I couldn't quite figure it out. But I got there. I flew twice that time, or that trip. We were there for 7 days.
Man,
that was insane. That was probably the most infuriating thing ever. But I haven't been put myself in a position where I've like royally embarrassed myself. So
we're gonna always embarrass ourselves and make mistakes, and we're gonna always look back and say, why would I do that? I've been flying so long. I'm coming up on my 150th flight. I shouldn't be making any mistakes. But yet, to get off the field at Palm Bay with Kate helping me take my wing off and heading over to Shannon Michaels saying, here, just take it and fix it and whatever. But to hear Lauren Michaels saying, dude, don't be upset. I do that all the time. I'm like, wow, that made me feel better. And unfortunately, and I hate to say that this made me feel better, but it made me realize that one of my favorite pilots in the sport, Travis Burns, the exact same thing happened to him the next day with his blade prop.
For those of you who don't know what Dave's talking about, why don't you explain what you're talking about, Dave?
Come on. Everybody knows. All right. So, so tell the full version, Kate. So, Kate, I decided
set up your wing.
Yes. But so Kate was kind enough to say, let me help you set up your wing. And I said, sure, go ahead. And she did. And she didn't do anything wrong, but it took me out of my groove. You know, you start and you end and you fly. And it took me out of my groove and something wasn't right. And Rick was there as well. And I think at the end of the day, I think I caught some rotor off of somebody's, flying overhead. And my left tip came down. My brake line went into my prop. I'm sorry, it went into Eric's prop that I was using, and did a little damage, which has now been taken care of, I think. And so, anyways, the rest is history. And there was an issue there with the paramotor, but all is well now, and we learned. And even since then, I was flying. About a week or so ago with Chris Holbert, who offered to set up my wing when I went back so I could go back and get my motor. And I said, no, man, I'm good. I got this. Just happened to me. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You may be Predator paramotor, but I'm good. Thank you, man. so we learned from that. And let me just say this too, because I'm going to refer back to the book, because this is a quote that I did circle here. And it says, I never allow myself to focus on the bitterness. I never allow myself to hold on to the experience of something negative. Instead, I want to learn from it quickly, catalog the knowledge, and press on. And I thought I'm like, yeah, that's right. We learn from our mistakes. We don't hold it down. You know, I was pretty bitter for about 45 minutes with Kate telling me to calm down. And I think that's to be expected. And, it was all good.
You know, one of the things that follows up in that chapter, it talks about the fact that not focusing on the things that make us bitter is important, but even more important is questioning the things that come easily to you, questioning your successes, trying to look at, okay, why was I successful in this launch? Why was it easy for me to launch in no wind today? You know, whereas in the past it's been very difficult, and it's obvious the reasons why. How can we grow through quickly moving past our pain and our frustration, and then focus on the little pieces and morsels of success, and say, how do these pieces of success come to be, and how do we create more of them in the future?
That's good. That's good preaching there.
Good preaching.
Like that.
Good preaching. All right. All right. So I'm going to tell a story too, just because we're telling terrible stories right now. I had a scout machine. And I had I think it was a 17-meter Doberman 1. And I lined up with the wing. It was no wind. I stood still. I checked my center point, brought the engine up a little bit of power, just a little bit of power, not a lot of power, just like enough to fuel it, pushing me forward. Had a Moster 185 silent on it, if I recall correctly. Maybe a plus. And moments later, the entire wing was in the propeller. I hadn't moved. There was no wind. Somehow a line, like one of the tip lines, I was holding the A's out here, one of the tip lines got caught, and it was like sucked the whole wing in. And that was one of the most painful experiences of my life, because Scout parts aren't cheap. And actually, I don't think I damaged the motor, but the wing was like shredded. Like, it was so bad. Mm-hmm. So bad. All right.
So sorry.
Say again?
Go ahead, Kate.
I was just gonna say, just out of curiosity, what's for one, I don't know how much the Scout weighs. It's a much thicker frame. It seems a lot larger.
It's not much heavier than a Maverick.
Between the two, what do you? I mean, I know that because it is heavier. Like, do you find that it's more difficult to try to launch it?
Me, yeah. So to me, there's a lot of things that go into paramotor geometry and design. I know all three of us fly Mavericks. There are a lot of awesome things about a Scout. In the air, it's still my favorite unit, but I despise launching and landing it. It leans very far forward on your back, so the prop line is actually it's beyond vertical. It's forward, So to lean back, you have to really accentuate that lean back. And I don't know if it's just I've owned 3 Scouts personally. I've probably got 80 to 100 hours on them at most. So I've got a fair amount of flight time on them, and they're fantastic in the air. Like I say, when I first flew the very first Scout that came to the U.S., I couldn't believe how much better it flew than everything else I'd flown up to that point. Now I feel like there are other paramotors that have very similar in-flight geometry and are just much more user-friendly. But I can't say enough for the geometry and just the brilliance of Miroslav. I mean, they're good. They're good frames. There's a lot of great frames out there now. My favorite happens to be the Maverick because I sell it, which is because I like it. B, I sell it because it has good geometry. It feels natural. It feels comfortable, and I like that. So, plus it's light and it's really ridiculously strong. And as a beginner, especially, you want to have something that's ridiculously strong.
Yeah, I like mine a lot. I want to tell one more story here because I was just talking about this with Chris Holbert today. A couple days ago, we were out flying, and as I was landing, I saw a guy with a Fresh Breeze Monster and the Trike, and it was the same unit that I have and first started with. And so we, started talking a little bit. He wasn't wearing a helmet, and that's what our instructor never told us we needed to wear a helmet. And so, you're talking about how your wing. I keep looking down here because I'm looking at the video down here. You talked about how your wing went in. The first time I had my wing sucked into my prop. Now this is something that you Southerners are not going to have to experience. But I was flying last winter, and it was a snow-covered ground, and I was flying, and I had my helmet on, and of course my GoPro, and I was coming into land into this snow-covered field, and my gloves were so thick I couldn't push the kill button. And I couldn't get the motor off. So I landed, my wing overshot me, a line caught the prop, and the wing flew right back in. One of the lines skipped real hard off the top of my forehead of my helmet and ripped the camera off and went into the snow somewhere. The wing got sucked in. So point being, had I not been wearing a helmet, I probably would have lost a ton of skin and probably could have been a lot worse. More brain damage than you see today. But it was pretty serious. So, oh my gosh, wear helmets. Things can happen. It's ridiculous not to. There's no reason not. I mean, where else are you going to put your GoPro?
Exactly.
You need a helmet.
Exactly. I tell people a lot of the time, it's like, I don't wear a helmet for the event of a crash as much as I wear, which obviously I do, but the main reason is because I'm worried about something falling off the motor, going through the propeller, and then creating confetti that flies toward me. We fly single engine 2-strokes. Things fall apart sometimes. They shouldn't if they're well maintained, but it still has been known to happen. And I'm just, why would I not do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, let's see. Anything else you want to share before I jump into questions and answers with my bride?
No. I'm very grateful to be here tonight. I'm very blessed to be in the paramotoring community. It's changed my world in the last 18, 19 months. I've made so many incredible friends, met so many incredible people. I feel so blessed to have a show that I'm a part of on Sunday nights, which is a very self-serving show, as I've said many, many times, because I get to ask these questions that I don't know and come off, looking sort of okay, being stupid about it, because I don't know what I don't know. And so I'm very grateful to have that opportunity. I loved always with these videos that I was producing, getting feedback. Sometimes it's not the most pleasant thing to have feedback, but having people like a Todd Falstad correct me and give me pointers of what to do. Without that medium, I would have never met one of my very closest friends, Rick Davies, and developed relationships with him and many other people out there as well. So I'm very grateful and just thanks for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Well, my dad just asked a really good question, so I'm going to ask it of you before I bring Nell in here.
Okay.
I kind of surprised Nell tonight. I felt bad. That's why I disappeared off camera for a minute, because she was getting the kids to bed and we're like going back and forth, and Kate and I are trying to get the technology to work, and I'm struggling because I'm on the struggle bus. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, it's working. Let's go live now. So Nell walks back in the room. She's like, what just happened? So Dad's question's great. We're going to ask this of both of you guys. He says, what or please describe your best flights. He spelled it DISCRIBE, so I'm not really sure what he meant, but I believe he meant describe.
Well, my best flight, and I joke around with Kate because we joke around and saying that everybody got an invitation to go fly out to the beach.
Talk
At
about this again. Come
what's
on.
that?
Isabel, man, we're gonna talk about this again.
So yeah,
Go
flying out to the beach at the Palm Bay flying was just unbelievable magical. There's so many flights like that though. I mean, but that to be able to fly over the ocean, from being a guy that lives in southwestern Ohio, not even close to the ocean, that was really a dream come true. That's something that I watched other people's videos and going, oh man, just one day, what if I could? Being able to watch Anthony Vella's videos and flying out there in Arizona, or you pick your poison, going out into Moab and Utah and California. These are all things that are on a bucket list for someone like me. So to be able to do that was amazing, but really, I mean, and I guess this will be the last thing I can think of that I can quote from the book that I read this morning. One of your students said, I got to steal some time from heaven. Mm-hmm. To be up there and just go, how did you do this, Lord? How did you make this amazing area and give me the opportunity to see it from this perspective? It's just such a blessing.
It really is. And I think that's really the critical element that makes this all so worth it, is we're put in a position where we get to steal those moments in heaven, those moments that are beyond what a mortal should be able to experience. We get to experience on a regular basis.
Yep. It's awesome. It's such a gift. And another reason why who wouldn't want to be an instructor to be able to pass that gift and pay it forward to somebody else.
Just saying, man, I would say we're hiring, but right now we're trying to figure out if we're open or not. So once we figure that out, let's talk.
Someone did ask me a question here. If it's okay if I answer it real quick?
Please.
Before, how did it feel flying with my son for the very first time? Wow. To be able to fly was a dream come true for me. To be able to fly with my son, Brennan, was even better. I got Brennan prepared to fly. I taught him what to do, everything I needed, everything I had learned from flying the trike. And a lot of people question me about this, about why did you take your son back up to Flight Junkies if you felt the way you did, that you didn't learn much from him. And because the answer to that is this: I've never, ever launched anybody. And to take him up there where at least I knew Kurt Pfister, who's a good pilot, knows what he's doing when he's flying a paramotor. Can't argue that. Okay. That he could see things that I couldn't. So would it be better for me to launch my son or have someone that's launched many other people? I mean, anybody can figure that out. There's no egos. There's no egos here.
Interesting.
At least I'm concerned.
So what did it feel like to fly with him?
Oh, it was amazing. The first time he and we captured that on video too. The first time he and I were up there and flying near, he almost took my wing off though. He came right across the top of me. He got pretty close. Kate's giving me the look. I got a little nervous on that, but to be able to fly with him, it was just like watching, it was better than my first flight. That's how good it was.
That's awesome.
To be able to fly with your own son and share that moment with him.
I've not flown with my sons except in the airplanes. But I've had the opportunity to fly with my father and with my brothers. I've taught one of my sisters to fly. Right after my brother James died, I guess it was maybe 5 days after he died, or 4 days, my brother Joseph and my dad and I went for a flight, and we flew from the airport up to my family's airport. And I remember just flying along and weeping and flying and weeping and flying and weeping and looking out and remembering all the flights we had together. And, it was so deeply valuable. And then I remember probably 3 months later, I was flying with my dad at Lake Wales Airport, and it was a beautiful sunset. And I came along beside him, and he's kicking his feet and smiling. And I was like, if my dad died tomorrow, this is how I'd remember him. I wouldn't remember the prior 33 years of being in a relationship. I would remember watching his joy in flight. I would remember seeing his passion. There's the memory would not at all be about any of the frustrations, any of the disagreements. It would just be nothing at all but that perfect moment of joy. And I don't look forward to my dad dying, but I know that when it happens, I'll look forward to having those memories so deeply cemented. So
Awesome.
I'm excited for you, man. My boys want to fly too. They're getting more interested, and we're about to come out with a new kiting wing that they'll be utilizing.
Yeah, that's awesome. My daughter's been kiting my Spider 3. She's getting better. She's getting there. So we're working on her. She's only 12 years old right now.
That's awesome.
We'll get her foot, and I want to get my son foot launching and get rid of my trike, because really, I mean, there's no reason. Rick said it a long time ago. There's no reason. And Mike Cotter said it a long time ago. There's no reason I should have ever been in a trike.
No.
There's something different about foot launching, and I really was very strong about, I love the trike, and I think I was just brainwashed by Rick Davies. But foot launching,
Trikes are awesome. Don't get me wrong; it's a lot of fun, but there's nothing as good as running into the sky.
Running into the sky and having I'm not gonna. I videoed this morning, but I didn't like the way it turned out, so it's not gonna be a video for me. But watching myself landing and those feet just coming right down where they're supposed to and just walking it off, to me that's more fun than taking off. It really is.
Yeah. It is really, especially so for me, and some people have heard this story, and I'll share it again. Learning to fly paramotors is the hardest thing I've ever done physically or emotionally. I'd already broken my back once, so any down pressure on my spine was brutal pain, and just really a challenging thing for me to experience. So I had not the best training in the world, and I'd gone and I was flying really old equipment, really heavy equipment, and I would basically succeed every fifth or sixth launch I'd get in the air. And so there was a lot of time spent on the ground crying or weeping, like pouring sweat or whatever it was, But when your feet come off the ground and everything works the way it's supposed to, it's like, holy crap, this is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So Dave, I'm so thankful that you came on the show. Kate, thank you for being here. We will do more of these in the future. We will bring more people in over the next few weeks to continue to share our stories. I wanted to bring Dave in because he's just been a really good friend and a lot of fun to be with. And Catherine, I just missed her soul because normally I see her every day, and I haven't seen her in weeks. She came over the other day, and I literally Lysoled everything that she touched. So
yeah. He at least waited until I left, so it wasn't as hurtful. But then he texted me right after and was like, "I just Lysoled all your germs," and I was like, "Thanks, bud. Thanks for making me feel at home."
Oh my goodness. Oh man. All right. So guys, anybody who's asked a question in the chat, I'd like you guys to please save those questions. We're going to take a quick break. Again, thank you, Kate and Dave, for being here. Love you guys, and we'll see you next week. I'm going to bring my wife onto the show here. We'll take a break and kick things off for more fun here in the future. If you guys haven't yet, check out Paramotor Crazy on YouTube. They do a Sunday night show called Our Paramotor Nation. Kate is one of the hosts of that show as well. You can find her on Instagram at Just Kate's Journey. Right, Kate?
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave those links in the chat, and we'll see you guys in a bit.
See ya.
Guys, awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you later.
See you soon.
Good job.
All right. Hello and welcome back to the Ask Aviator podcast, episode number 43. It's really helpful to have it right here so we can see like what episode we're on. I'm going to listen in really quick.
Helpful.
I think the audio sounds good. It does sound good.
Do you want me to go check it?
No, it seems perfect. Fantastic. All right, so
My earrings look huge.
your earrings do look pretty gangster.
I feel like a very large bass. Would love to just nosh.
I feel like you might be right. All right,
That's
so
possible.
what I was hoping to do is I'd like to get anybody who has had questions for us that would like to have their questions answered. We can certainly do that now. Now is the time. So I know that Jim had a whole bunch of questions in there. He asked a question about the new kiting glider that we're working on. I don't have a price for you yet. I should by Friday. We also have the first group of them arriving, so really looking forward to that. We got Harley Milne in here from the 50X Challenge. State number 33 completed.
Awesome.
Pretty
Good for you.
impressive. Yeah, pretty darn impressive. Jim says we're blessed to see Eric's much better half. Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's more than half now. Am I the better 2/3?
Ding!
I'm sorry, that was harsh.
Sean says this is how you bait me with your earrings. It didn't take that. Did not take that much. Let's see. I got some other questions coming in. Survival earrings double as lures. Just add hook. Yeah.
I have a hook.
They do have a hook.
I do have a hook.
I just grabbed yours. Why did I do
It's
that?
fine.
Where's my
because yours
one?
is not here.
Explain what you're drinking.
I will once I'm done chewing my chocolate. This is a pineapple jalapeno margarita, and it's definitely up there for favorite splurge beverages.
So we grow the jalapenos in the garden. She makes the tequila on her own. That's not true.
No, that's not true.
Greg asks, how many hours should you have before you attempt thermaling? My advice to people is usually to have PPG-3 level skills, at least 75 to 150 hours of flight time, and be flying a safe glider. Bob Witheract, will you sign my Kindle edition? He's talking about the new book, Farewell to Normal. It's available tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Amazon. Check it out. It's going to be very, very exciting. We've got all these extra logos on the screen tonight because I changed some settings. Oops.
Yeah, that's all good. I can...
Let's see. Where did you learn piano?
I honestly don't remember how old I was when I started studying piano. I think I was 7 or 8. And I studied between 2 different teachers for about 10. I honestly don't remember. 10 to 12 years. I studied.
So I studied for 3 years, 2 or 3. This is in the book as well. And I made it through Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in 3 variations or 5 variations, and I hated it very much. And she's definitely the better pianist. I still can't play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star properly. So, all right, some other good questions in here. And really quick to go back to the thermaling question that Greg asked, torqued off. Attempting thermaling, it really is advised highly. Reserve for sure, A-rated glider for sure, and go to one of the clinics that either ourselves or Travis hosts. You know, a thermaling clinic, working with someone who's very experienced in already flying in thermals is crucial to safety and success. JP Tulo, why don't we hear much about speedsters and Sirocco's? Do people just go straight from roadsters and spiders to free rides? No. In fact, the Sirocco is a phenomenal stepping stone. I can't encourage people enough to consider that glider. In fact, that's what she'll be going to in probably another 150 flights, maybe less because you're so light. So we'll see. I mean, it is such an important step that you need to take before you move forward. So like AJ has now probably 200 hours. The first 75 to 100 were on his Spider, and then I think it was 110. And then the rest have been on a Sirocco 22. And he has just absolutely crushed that wing. He's doing great on it. He's ready for a free ride. But I keep pulling him back. I'm like, don't go to a free ride yet. You're going to be learning so much more by using the Sirocco because it doesn't do everything for you. A free ride, you think, and it does a barrel roll. So, yeah. Let's see. When is Aviator going to open a piano school?
Never that I'm aware of.
We might have to
but
soon.
Never say never.
We might have to soon.
Times they are changing.
Oh my goodness. Bob Litherak says, will you sign my Kindle edition? If you buy it tomorrow between 9 and 11 a.m., I will sign your Kindle edition of my book. Absolutely.
Figure it out.
JP Tulo, just to continue on with your speech or Sirocco, I can't encourage you enough. If you have the number of hours you need, which I think you're getting close, to go to a Sirocco, you'll be amazed at the difference, the increased efficiency, the better roll rate, more speed. It really is a great, great way to go. Leanne Trout says hello.
Hi, Leanne.
So I want to tell a story.
Saw your new wing. It's beautiful. Wow.
It is really pretty. I wanted to tell a quick story about
Tell a
Leanne
story.
and Derek.
Okay.
They stayed in our guest RV trailer,
Yeah.
and they left in the middle of the night without even saying goodbye.
It was very sad. I mean, we wouldn't have like hugged you or anything anyway, but we would have waved at you
We would have waved at you from afar.
from afar.
I'm letting you read some of the questions.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was like, why is this not? So, Eric, are you able to do a 360 kiting on a trike?
Yes. I can also reverse launch a trike, seated or standing. It's just practice, and it's a lot of fun to practice. So it's even more fun if you have someone to help lay out the glider, so you don't have to get out when you mess up. But
CT Shoot Flyer asks, does being heavily loaded on a Mojo make it less safe than an appropriately sized one?
Excellent question. It depends on how heavily loaded you are. So I'm 100 and, well, given my excessive pasta and rice intake in the last 2 weeks, I'm probably 190 pounds.
There's a story there. It'll come later.
Yeah, we'll let her tell that story.
Good one.
So at 190 pounds, I fly the Mojo extra small all the way up to the Mojo extra large. I'm properly weighted between the medium. I guess I'm at the very top of the weight range for a small, and I'm at the bottom of the weight range for a large. I prefer flying the XS and the XL because I either want to be super light and really, really floaty, being able to land on top of things and go really slowly with the XL, or I want to be able to throw down on the extra small. And they both, no matter where you are on the weight range, they're still going to have an A-wing characteristic. That said, I flew a 15-meter A-wing, or it was a knockoff of an A-wing. This was many years ago, and it was the most scary wing I'd ever flown because they had never properly tested it. It was actually a wing that we bought for Tucker Gott to have as his first wing when he was in training because he was so light at the time. And I flew it around, and I was like, "This is sketchy. Like this is not safe." So we ended up getting him a different wing, went for an ozone wing instead. But it really depends on how heavily loaded you are and what the wing was designed for. So like a Mojo Extra Small, which is a 21.6 if I recall correctly, at my weight, still very, very, very stable. Even though it's much more dynamic, like I can sat it, I can do all kinds of stuff on it. It takes a lot of work to get there, but it's still very stable compared to most other wings.
Yeah. Harley 50X Challenge asks, does anyone have a spare right top hoop for an Air Conception Delta frame that can expedite to Rod in Massachusetts?
Hi.
So, is it you? You're the one?
We should have them in stock. I can't guarantee it, but we should have them in stock. We may only have full hoop sections in stock, but we should have all the Air Conception parts you might need in stock. All right. This is actually a great question as well. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, no.
Oh, what have you done?
What have I done? There we go.
When will Ozone manufacture a 20 or smaller Speedster 2? Still disappointed they scrapped all the 20-meter 2s on the Roadster Spider Speedster.
So Skyflux, they make a 19-meter Sirocco 2. If you're ready for a sea glider, they make a 19. It's much more dynamic at my weight than the 22. You can't even really compare the two gliders. They're radically different, even though there's only 3 meters between them. And I have heard that there is a potential because of this one and all the other girls at our shop who are flying 22 Spiders that are they're just too small. The girls are too small for them.
Yeah.
So we're working on it. We need pre-orders if you are looking for a Spider 3 20-meter wing and you want one, then we need you to email us and pre-order so we can put together a large enough order to convince Ozone to build them. That's basically the only way we can do things. If we want to have a specialty wing, we've got to buy 25, 50 of them to ensure that it's worth their time. And right now, they're shut down. They're building gliders, they're shipping gliders, but their design and development team can't fly because France's airspace is shut down, which is really too bad.
Yeah.
Really too bad. Let's see. Tell me about the Mojo Power 2. How's it compare to the Mojo 1? Oh, dude. All right, I'll walk you guys through the whole situation. I got to fly it. It was actually the last time I flew. How sad is that? Well, I flew this Speedster 3 a little bit after that. That was a really fun flight. I'll post some video from flying the Speedster 3. We were like landing on top of a car in the compound. It was really, really fun. But the Mojo Power 2, so I flew it in some fairly turbulent conditions. It wasn't crazy or anything, but it was bumpy. I flew this small size, and Johnson flew the extra small. We were just playing around getting some video. There will be video of that coming out soon, so I'll share that with you guys. Normally on a Mojo, to get a big turn, it's a 3-step pull. So it's pull in, and as you start to come back to center, as soon as it starts you start dropping back underneath to center where once to stay stabilized. Secondary pull, and then as you start to dig in and you start to get that wing more to the 60-degree angle or so, you have to add an additional pull to keep the wingtip in. It's almost like you're grabbing the wing and trying to slow it down, grabbing that wingtip and trying to slow it down because it wants so badly to come back to stable. With the Mojo Power 2, it's more efficient. The pressure on the brake handles is much lighter. It's a little more prone to oscillate, but it comes out in 2 turns. So I would make a huge oscillation, throw my hands up, and it would 1, 2, stop, which was good. But the biggest difference was that instead of having to do a 3-step pull to be able to get the wing to dig in, you just do a pull, and it stays in the turn. It doesn't try to fall out of the turn, which is it's something that would normally happen on a Spider or Sirocco, where you do a one pressure in, second pressure to hold. Mojos have always required so much. I generally fly with a wrap or 2 in order to be able to get enough brake pressure in, and the Mojo Power 2 does not require that. It's much more fun to fly, I think.
Very cool.
The landing flare is better. I only flew it in wind, so I don't know how it is in no wind, but it's pretty freaking exceptional, actually. Yeah, very, very happy with it. Jim Sierra 120, similar to Dave's line snag mishap, what if the line gets caught under your chin? Are we looking at real potential for strangulation or getting our necks cut? I've never heard of that happening, Jim. The idea of a paraglider line going around your head and then around the prop, that's a terrible, terrible situation. That sounds like something from a Saw movie. You certainly could. Yeah, there in my opinion, there would be a real possibility of bad things happening. You've got a line that's strength tested at 800 pounds. At least on some of those like A-lines and stuff. Again, I've never heard of it happening, but just know where your kill switch is and get on it before it strangles you or cuts your throat. I've never heard of that happening, but I'd also never heard of anyone's wing going in their prop, and I saw that happen. So these things, if you are pushing the edge and you're doing dumb things, you're flying in conditions you shouldn't fly in, things could happen. All right, Austin McBain, I love my Sirocco 219. Yeah, you do, buddy. You throw that thing around like a boss. Let's see. Mini in Spain. Parajet is involved, I'm sure. Eric will know better. I don't know what that's about. Oh, SIV clinics. Yeah, there are SIV clinics all over Europe. I recommend going to Turkey simply because they have a 9,000-foot drop from launch to landing, and that sounds epic. Let's see. You got some more questions coming in here. I want to...
If you scroll down and it goes like 3 layers.
I scroll down a little tiny bit. All right. Paramotor Crazy has never been interviewed before? Dude, you are awesome. What the heck? Skyflux says he'd prefer the beefier fabric. Skyflux, I don't know why you would. The only reason I would want heavyweight fabric on a glider is if I was consistently flying off of a very abrasive beach or asphalt or gravel. There's no other reason I would ever want lightweight fabric. We've done a lot of testing. We have lightweight wings that have hundreds and hundreds of hours with no issues. They still pass inspection. So let's see. I'll let you read it.
Is there any indication on how Viterazzi is doing and when they may reopen?
I actually had a conversation today
All right.
with Fabrizio. Fabrizio is the new head of marketing for Viterazzi, and they're hoping to open again next week. If not, it'll be just after Easter. They currently have no one sick in the company.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's very good news. So very excited to hear that from Viterazzi. And I was, a little bit worried. They've been in complete lockdown and quarantine for weeks now in Italy. So that's good news for them. I've heard similar things from Fly Products as well. Let's see. Skyflux, if you have the 20 Roadster 2, I would definitely go to a 19 Sirocco. That would be my recommendation for sure. I'm just reading through. Hi, Leslie Thompson, JP Tulo, Jim CR120. When do we go? Let's see. I'll tell you what I have. I have over 4,000 hours as a P3 flyer. Yeah, man. Nice. Other than that, I have a wing, which I'll be practicing with for the next 228 days. My man. Good.
Awesome.
James Robinson says, Eric, your Kindle book is available to purchase now. Yes, it is. The book is available on Kindle and in paperback form, and you could buy it right now.
Yes.
But if you want to help us out,
A little extra.
a little extra.
Just a little extra.
If you want to help us out, we kept the price all the way down at 99 cents. And tomorrow morning between 9 and 11, we're pushing to make it a bestseller. We want to try to bring paramotoring and the idea of living beyond your fears and doing something special with your life. We are trying to drive that forward, so we want to make it a bestseller. Our publisher is confident we should be able to. So please, tomorrow morning, 9 to 11 a.m., purchase your book.
Is that 9 to 11 Eastern?
Eastern.
Okay.
Yep, 9 to 11
So,
Eastern.
adjust accordingly.
Please do. Let's see. There's some more. When is your next delivery from Fly Products? We have several deliveries en route. We don't know when they're arriving. All of the postal system is so messed up right now. That's why we've been trying to keep more and more stuff in stock. We've made some huge orders over the last few months in order to increase our stock to try to get rid of any ambiguity, because we just don't know what's going to happen with the world.
Yep.
Man, they say they love our shirts, guys. If you want Aviator T-shirts, check this out. Ready? Hang on.
I don't even have to do this.
So spiffy. We have T-shirts available, brand new designs available right now. You can check out the website shop.aviatorppg.com. We'd love to share those shirts with you. We're very excited about them, and I just bought more of those as well, so they should be ready to ship. Let's see here. Similar to your wing training videos, will you be doing a series focused elsewhere, like paramotor harness, reserve, flotation, etc.? Jim, if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see for the type of videos you want, please send me an email with those ideas. We are looking for video ideas as we are developing this timeline of not knowing what the heck we're doing in life right now. So I've got a few other things. I am going to give some stuff away tonight, guys, I promise. Really quick, I got to find something. Hang on one second. Let's go. We have a new product that no one has seen yet.
Few people have seen it.
Well, maybe a few, but they don't count. I'm just kidding.
That was very controversial.
You guys all count. All of you who have seen this already, that's fine, but we just got these in last week. Super excited. This is the new keychain, the Remove Before Flight Aviator keychains. I'm going to give one of those away. Let's see, Dave, Paramotor Crazy, you get to choose who wins a keychain. Deal?
Oh,
there we go.
Tricky.
He's still in the chat, so we're going to make him work. Let's see.
Oh, yes, nicely, and they sold me 2 shirts.
Did we? Nice.
Yes.
All right, looking for... Sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep up with these questions. We got some good ones.
Yes.
Here's one you can read. Actually, there's 2 of them.
All right. Is your book, Farewell to Normal, available in ebook format?
Kindle. Yep, it's available on Kindle for 99 cents right now. It'll be going up to $10 eventually, so get it while you can. There'll be a link in the description of this video.
Yes. And when are classes open?
Classes are open, so that's a tough question. We are in the midst of making a decision on when classes will reopen. We have a class scheduled for April 11th in Dunellen, another one for April 25th in Lake Wales. with Trump's latest social distancing order to extend through April 30th, we are going to leave it up to the students and the instructors as to whether or not they, the April 11th and April 28th classes will open or not. We also have we have a few other classes like that. So we're trying to figure that out. We're trying to figure out how to keep everybody safe, and to ensure that we're following not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of it as well. I mean, our family's been stuck here in quarantine for 2 weeks. Today is our 2 week. We've been home nonstop for 2 weeks, and it's tough, man. It's really tough, and it hurts the heck out of our company. I mean, we're at a point where we have to pay employees, and we have to pay for rent, and we have to pay for supplies, and we have to pay for internet and power and water and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've already shut down 2 classes with the potential of having to close 2 more, and it's really, it's real. I mean, I don't want to say it's scary because I'm not afraid. I'm confident. I just want to be able to continue to serve our staff and our team, and I want to be able to continue to change lives, but we also can't put anyone at risk. You know, what we're doing is, it's very important. I believe it's a life-changing experience, but it's not worth putting someone in a position where they could get very seriously ill. So, yeah.
Jamie Stotts, I hope I said your name correctly, says, I saw your latest wing videos, and I have heard that the EN ratings only apply to non-powered. Is that only for legal reasons, and is it still useful to compare powered wings?
Yeah, so you are correct. They are tested unpowered. They're tested with the trimmers closed. They're tested unpowered. What's important to realize, those 23 different things that EN tests for are a great indicator of how the wing will fly, powered or unpowered. Even though it's not necessarily an exact representation, it's still very, very, very good. So if I'm going to go fly a new glider and I know it's EN-C certified, I can go through and I will have the confidence and the knowledge of how that wing's going to react in certain circumstances. So if I come up, dump the power, go to idle, I know how the wing's going to recover. And that's what's the most important thing to me. Like, that's really important to me. I want to know that I'm not a test pilot in that situation.
Yeah. Jim CR120 asks, which bad habit or habits are the most frustrating that students bring to training?
A bad attitude.
Yep.
Honestly, if you hate yourself and you think you're terrible and you think you're doing a terrible job, you're going to do a terrible job. You're going to be frustrating to work with. If you won't stop apologizing for your actions, you're going to be challenging to work with. If you come in either with a bad attitude or overly cocky, those are the 2 things that are tough. But if you come in with humility and passion and desperate desire to do well and to have fun, then it's a win-win-win. You can't come in here with one small thing wrong, like say you pull the brake the wrong way or you run under it the wrong way. That's never going to be a frustrating thing to us because every student's that way. Everyone struggles. You know, there are a few people in the world who get this naturally, but it's very rare. And our instructors, the number one thing they're hired on is empathy. They're hired to be kind and to be understanding because we've all been there. Every one of our instructors has been there. They've been through the challenge of learning to fly and knowing how challenging it all is. So just come in with a great attitude and you'll be golden.
Okay, so Linda Anderson really, really needs to buy a t-shirt.
She really needs to buy a t-shirt?
Can we link her up?
Already there. Look at that.
Already there? Look at that. Thanks, guys. Is that Catherine on there? Probably Cat. I always say Catherine.
I know.
It's just force of habit. I apologize.
We've known her as Catherine for a long time.
Yeah, but I can learn new words. I'm grown up.
All right, let me keep going up. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling. Torqued off.
Excuse me. With social distancing being extended to April 30th, is there a possibility that the May 2nd X-35 class will be postponed again? Asking for a friend.
I think right now, Greg, anything's possible. We really hope that's not the case. We're a very small company with a very large payroll because we have a lot of incredible people who work for us. And while there are a lot of SBA loans and things like that available, we've tried applying and their websites aren't working. We've been trying for 2 weeks to do everything we possibly can to keep the company afloat and to continue. So we need these classes to happen, but we're not willing to make the classes happen at a risk to your health. That's just, quite frankly, it's not worth it to me to have you guys show up and then have you get sick and or die. It's not okay. So we are 100% in a position where we want to have classes, because classes are how we stay afloat. It's how we serve our clients. It's how we have a team that's in the office right now shipping parts, not right now, but today, and tomorrow. And so we need to keep building the Aviator family. We need to keep inspiring people and changing their lives, but it's really difficult to do when we have this this virus. I don't know for sure, Greg. We are hoping that everything's passed by then. Looking at, I've become like a virus researcher over the last few weeks. And I already had a fair amount of knowledge because I love Into the World novels. But looking at all the data, it looks like the majority of the hottest part of this will probably come the third week of April. As far as the majority of the cases, et cetera, things will have amplified greatly. We'll be hitting those exponential increases. But I don't know what to tell you, my friend. I sure as heck hope we can, because we need those classes to happen so that we can continue this business and continue blessing people. That's our goal, and that's really what we're working on. It's really what we're working on.
Yeah. To switch the subject a little bit, Phobio asks, what projects is Aviator working on?
Good Lord.
Should it be, what projects are we not working on?
So that's the thing. Like, one of the blessings of having an incredible team like we have, where our team is bigger than I think any other school possibly in the world, with the exception of maybe Sky School in Dubai. I'm not sure. We have so many. We are working on electric paramotor. We're working on new kiting wing. We've been working on helping with the development of other gliders. We've been working on, the list is insurmountable. New strobe systems, trying to do everything we can to keep our same level of quality and commitment to care and to warranty work and everything else the same. But we're doing so many things, guys. There's so many. Nate Gill asked a good question. Any word of the stimulus bill will help with your employees' payroll? It will, for the full-time employees. Some of our workers are not employees or contractors, and that will not help with that. And that's part of the struggle, because we have a lot of people who we really love that do great work for us that aren't covered under employees currently because they don't work full-time. So they don't have the opportunity to have the assistance or we don't have the opportunity to have the assistance in paying them. And the challenge of all the government assistance as a business owner is that it doesn't help us now. It's a retroactive thing. So if I borrow $300,000 to pay payroll and pay our suppliers and pay the rent, that's great and all. And some of that will be forgiven, but it's not forgiven until it's in tax credit at the end of the year. And so it's definitely a challenge, because I hate debt. I really, really don't want to run a business that's based on debt, because it's something that was ingrained in me from my parents. Yeah. So taking on a massive amount of debt, I feel like puts us more at risk, but there's a certain point where we have to do something in order to keep things growing, unless we have the community get behind us like you guys have been doing. If you guys come together and you sign up for classes in the fall, if you get your family involved, we have an all-girls class October 3rd. Get your wives, book the signups now. If you go ahead and book your training, we have the opportunity to be able to know that we have further income in the future, which gives us so much more ability to ensure continued success. And that's not just for us, guys. That's not just for Aviator. That's not like us begging you. I want to make sure you understand, like, whoever you support them now so that they can guarantee their future. That's the key. It really is the key. And like with our training, you pay weekly. You don't pay all in one lump sum. You put a $750 deposit down, and if you book for October, I think it's like $26 a week. So it's affordable, and you're not paying out of pocket, but it gives us the knowledge that we have continued bookings, because right now our bookings kind of dry up in the summer, and it's like, okay, now what? Because we want to continue to bless people, we want to continue to serve. So for our Aviator family who's out there, we put a challenge out to you guys to make a really cool video, and we're going to give away one of our newest products coming to market, something that we've been working on with Brian Horton. We haven't been working on it. Brian's been working on it, but I'll pretend to take credit. And that's going to, so make a video about your experience about learning to fly. Get out there. Make sure your neighbors know what paramotors are. The way I look at it is that we are in a position where so many people are deeply afraid. They're terrified of what's happening in the world today. They're terrified of what's going to happen tomorrow. And living in that fear, they're not able to fully feel alive. And so they need to see that once you step foot into the sky, when you run into the sky, something shifts in you. They need to see that this could be what they've been waiting for, what they need in their life. All right, the Chad just logged on. What is the title of your book? I'll pull it out here so you can see it. It is Farewell to Normal. I stole my parents' book title. Sorry, Mom and Dad. They've been working on theirs for like 20 years. I stole it. It's a great title. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Man, we are way behind on comments. I'm going to try to catch up here really quick. I'm going to read for just a minute.
A lot of it is Eloise.
Save this one for me. What are your thoughts on the Scouts flotation? I will answer that in a moment. Slow Days, any plans on taking the book to Audible? Yes, I will eventually read it into this microphone and put it on Audible. I have everything I need to do that. I just actually have to do it. Terry, Jill, Lloyd, send me your number. Charles, just send me a message and I will send that to you. Where will the book be for sale tomorrow? Amazon, Amazon.com. It will be there. Flying Squirrel Pearly, who's camping in tents? I don't know. I believe it's skydivers. Andre needs an Aviator logo vinyl sticker for his truck. They're on our store, or just send me a message and I'll have one shipped to you, my friend. Are the Parajet decals like those on the prop available? I have a red one in my car. We can get an orange one for you, no problem. Let's see.
We have a little gopher.
We have a gopher behind us?
Burrowing up from underneath.
Do we really?
We do. Come here.
This is Eloise.
Oh.
I just jumped a huge bunch
Yeah,
again.
you just jumped because Dave had, I think further up had a
Answer for us?
No, he had a challenge, I think. No.
Man.
Holy smokes, we really are behind, aren't we?
Guys, we're trying to catch up. My apologies. Okay, first person to answer the question wins the keychain. What wing of mine did I say my daughter was practicing kiting with? Spider 3, PPG Pirate won it. Nice. Right on, Pirate. Excellent. This is Eloise. She's our 5-year-old.
Want to say hi?
She's supposed to be asleep right now.
But she had a nap today, so... Is that funny to you?
Let's see. I'm keeping reading, guys. My apologies. You guys have been really active, and I appreciate it.
We asked about that. You asked me to say that question.
Yes, I will go back to that in a moment.
Do you need something?
I'm just reading through all these guys. Whoa, Washington Fly got deleted. What happened? Craig Taylor, I gave you the power. It was Washington saying something you shouldn't say. I'd like to have read them. All right. Trying to keep up, guys. My apologies. So many great questions. Phobio has a good question as well. I need to start copying and pasting these. So
Yeah, my goodness, we got way behind. Sorry.
I'm just going to copy and paste these for a minute, guys, really quickly, so I can keep up. Thank you guys so much for everyone being here. Any trike hog hunting in the works? Not right now. I don't feel like going through the. I don't feel like going through these. James Robinson, is new kiting wing going to be exclusive to Aviator? No, it will not be. Let's see. Oh my gosh, so the problem is, guys, we get to a point where we have scrolled and it jumps to the bottom, and so it's So people stop and talk to me when flying. I made a flyer to answer all the questions. Oh, very cool. Really quick, Andre Gamillion says he has so many people stop and talk to him when he's flying. He made a flyer to answer all the usual questions and put your website on it to refer to people. If anyone wants to see that flyer, Andre, please post that. That'd be awesome for other people to share. Eloise wants to know who we're talking to. Do you want to say hello to the people?
So we're having a conversation with people on the internet, and the camera is set up, and it's showing our picture, the video, to all the people that we're talking to. Would you like to say goodnight on your way to bed? Mom,
Who are they? Lots of my past students and our friends.
Mr. Dave and Miss Leanne and Mr. Harley and lots of other people.
Brian Horton says maybe we should open up a contest for people to narrate your book and have people vote for the winner. Could be interesting. I like that idea. That means I don't have to read it again. That sounds great.
Oh, Mr. Mike says hi. Do you remember inviting Mr. Mike to your birthday party?
I don't know if she does.
Remember?
She probably does.
Yeah.
We are through. We have all the questions. This is amazing. Mark Rogers asks, where can I find decals for your wings, like your Aviator Paramotor and Paradigm ones, or X35 is interesting getting one made for our team. Mark, if you want that stuff, send us an email, please. info@aviatorppg.com. We can make any size logo up to 6 feet wide. We are happy to help. So send us a message. We'll be happy to get you whatever you need. I want to know what he said. I got you. Well, guys, we have a bunch of questions still to answer, but thank you all for them. Apologies for the slow get through this stuff. Slow Days asks, is the video challenge just for past students? It is. At this point, we wanted people to share their experience that they had at Aviator. So if you went through one of the Aviator's classes and you want to share your experience, we'd love to hear it. Post up a new video on YouTube. Send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever with a link. Tag us in it, and we will check it out. And we're going to have our students all vote on what they think the best one was and go from there. So at least I think that's the plan. I could be wrong. All right. Phobio asked a good question, and it seems like we're starting to slow down. So I'm going to answer this question once Eloise goes to bed. Eloise, will you come give me a kiss goodnight? I love you.
Okay. Wave goodbye. Goodbye. Good night.
It takes a long
It
time.
takes a long time. If you walk around to the back, you might be able to see it on the other side.
I'm just thankful that we haven't lost connection tonight. Knock on wood. It's really nice. Oh, careful. Don't knock the camera over.
She was really careful before.
So, cool. Guys, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for your great questions. I'm going to answer the last one from Phobio.
All right, Eric, talk about what it's like to base a career around your passion. How do you leave work at work?
That's hilarious.
That's a really good question. That's a great question. How do you leave work at work?
Well, it's 9:26 p.m. and I'm still at work.
Yeah.
I'll probably be at work until 1 or 2. Eloise, bedtime now, please. Oh, the rain's just started.
Yep.
So the consideration is this. My whole life, and if you read my book, you'll understand some of this stuff because I share some of my my childhood and my early business experience. I started my first business, started working when I was 7 or 8, at my grandparents' restaurant, full-time. It was a 100-yard walk from my house. I started my first business when I was 13, selling airplanes on this new thing called the internet. And it was, it was a business. It was a real business. I had employees by the time I was 15 or 16. I've always found a way to take every passion I have, whether it's photography, writing, flying, anything, and turn it into a way to make a living. Sometimes not a great living, sometimes a good living, but it's always been about following and sharing my passions. And so I don't think there is a way to leave work at work when you own the business. Like we were talking earlier today, I need a day off. I think I've taken, up until this quarantine, in the first 2.5 months of the year, I think I took 2 days off.
Yeah.
Since Christmas.
Like full, don't go to the office even for a little bit, don't.
Well, but even
no
then I'm
major
still
meeting.
working.
Yeah, you're still working, but it's not, no major meetings, nothing.
Yeah, so I certainly don't have the key to that. I don't have the answer to how to do it right. All I can give is what works for us, which is to really clearly, and this is in the book as well, to really clearly find a way to prioritize what the most important things in your life are. So for me, it's my wife, my kids, my family, my friends, my business. And it's not always been like that. My business was on top for a really long time. And it was really hard on our marriage. It was really hard on all my friendships. I didn't have any friendships because of it, basically. My friends were my students, and that was it. And then my friends were my employees and my students, and that was it. And so trying to find better ways to define who I am and then to be more structured in that has been really important. It's something that I am getting better at, but I'm far from perfect at.
Yeah.
But I think that if you don't have a large goal in life, you're pretty much, like for me, every time I don't have a large goal in my life, I start to feel depressed. I start to feel like I'm held underwater. I start to feel like I'm leaving so much on the table that I could do. And like this week, I mean, we're at home. I finished the book. Now what, right? Like now what do I do? What do I do with my time? What's the next big project I'm going to take on? I can't do the homework projects I want to do. Like I want to build a den or a study / guest room in our house, but I can't go to Lowe's and buy all the stuff because that's not quarantining. I want to build a deck. I can't do that. I want to get my boat running. I can't do that. There's so many projects I want to accomplish that I can't prioritize because we're trying to keep ourselves separated. And so I'm now, like right now, like as we're on this show, I am literally thinking through, like, what do I do next? Like the show tonight, I wasn't excited about it. I was like, I'm not sure if the technology's going to work. Last week was really stressful because all the technology kept failing. Like it's anxiety building. And so trying to find ways to constantly push forward with a bigger goal is crucial. And so that's something we talk about in the book quite a lot. So I encourage you guys, check it out and see what your thoughts are. I'd love to read your reviews. If you hate it, I respect you. If you love it, awesome. If it helps change your life and encourages you toward doing something greater, I would be so honored, because that is why I was put on this earth. I was put on this earth to try to inspire others to live beyond their fear. And I know that now. And I'm far from a perfect person, but I will keep doing everything I possibly can to bless everybody around me. So anyway, let's see. Dave says, this was a great show. Quality of the guests could have been better, but everything else was awesome.
Oh, we love you, Dave.
Love you, Dave. Amazon buy one, just 99 cents. Awesome, man. Guys, it was a wonderful show as always. We are an hour and a half in, and so we're going to call it a night. Really looking forward to seeing you guys. I will go live tomorrow morning when the book releases, or when we want you guys to hop on and start buying. So if you guys want to hang out tomorrow morning around 9-ish in the morning, between 9 and 10 in the morning, we'll be live. We'll be looking forward to hanging out with each and every one of you. Maybe I'll read some of the book or something so you guys can get a live piece of it. That actually kind of sounds cool. I could do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
I wonder if our kids could be quiet long enough.
That's why God made audiobooks.
But I'll be the audiobook. That's the danger. Our kids love audiobooks.
They really love audiobooks.
They really do. All right.
I'm sure we can find a way.
So we will do that tomorrow morning, guys.
Yeah.
I'll come in. I'll read some of the book. We'll have a great time. As always, thank you. And if you want Nell to play you out, I mean, you just have to ask. And you guys are asking. 009 says, Eric, after Corona is gone, go on some paracamping excursions with just Nell. Brother, I would love that. That sounds amazing.
That would be fun.
Absolutely amazing. So,
That would be fun.
guys, we'll let Nell play you out. We'll look forward to seeing you next week and tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning should be fun. I haven't even read my own book aloud yet. I'm kind of scared.
I believe in you.
I believe in you. I believe I can fly. Except not right now because my paramotor's at work. Really sad about that, actually.
It is sad. We've had multiple people offer to come drop them off, but we don't really have vehicles to transport them.
I mean, I could take off in the yard. It would be tight, really tight.
I really like you. Please don't die.
It's like the area that we could utilize is about 3/4 of an acre, surrounded on 3 sides by trees.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
PPG Addict asks, do you have Maverick Sport in stock with the MY20? I believe we do, PPG Addict. I'm not 100% sure if they have the MY20 or not. They should at this point, but I believe we do. You can check our website or just drop us an email, info@aviatorppg.com. All right, guys. So much appreciation to each and every one of you for taking the time, for being a part of this Aviator family, for watching the show. There's a lot of people in this world right now who are confused as to what to do with life, and I really appreciate each of you for finding your peace and sharing your love right here. So thank you all. Now you gonna play?
I can play. I don't know what I'm going to play.
Something from Tchaikovsky's Bob Litherak's request.
Tchaikovsky and I, not so much. We're not the best of friends, but I will come up with something.
Chopin?
Oh.
You should have seen her face. I don't know if you guys could have seen that. I said Chopin, and she looks at me like, I will literally slice your face off.
Sorry, we're not best friends.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. All right, I'm going to drop the link in here one more time. Tomorrow morning, guys, we'll see you here. I'm going to leave the set up for tomorrow, and hopefully my kids don't knock it over. That's the prayer. If anybody buys the paperback and wants to have it signed, I think you're weird, but I'm happy to do it. We have another request from Brian Horton for Freebird. She doesn't know what that is. My wife was a very, very sheltered child.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Schumann. All right, I'll shut up. You guys enjoy. I'm going to turn up the volume on this just a little bit so you can get a little bit better volume and reverb. I'll shut up now. Much love, guys. See you on the next time.